less than a year ago, only back in May of 2023. And this news follows a separate health scare in the royal family, which is Kate Middleton, the Princess of Wales. She returned home only last week following an abdominal surgery. The princess spent 13 nights in the hospital in London, but the palace reported that she was now recovering and making good progress. However, the news of her surgery was unexpected and shocked the public, as she's only just turned 42 years old in January. Otherwise, Buckingham Palace said that King Charles remains optimistic about his treatment and looks forward to returning fully to public duty as soon as possible. And this evening, messages of support have begun coming through. We've learned that Prince Harry has spoken to his father, King Charles, despite their rift, about his diagnosis, and will travel to the UK in the coming days to see him. Meanwhile, we've heard Prime Minister Rishi Sunak just release a statement saying, quote, "Wishing His Majesty a full and speedy recovery. I have no doubt he'll be back to full strength in no time, and I know the whole country will be wishing him well," end quote. So again, this is breaking news, but we will continue to follow this development. And otherwise, that's all we have heard in London. But again, I'm sure I'll be back with you guys shortly with more information.
Yep, Shelby Wilder, breaking news, developing story. We appreciate the update there. And let's continue our discussion right now. Joining us with more on the diagnosis of King Charles III, global business consultant Hillary Fordwich, who is, again, joining us now on this breaking news, and the director of Heritage Margaret Thatcher Center for Freedom and former advisor to Margaret Thatcher, Niall Gardner. Hillary, I'm going to start with you. What do you make about this?
Well, I think it's extremely admirable, as was just mentioned, that he has gone public with this, and he's actually voiced that he wants this to make an impact for all those other people who have been diagnosed with something similar. It is not prostate cancer. They've said it's not prostate cancer, but they haven't said what kind of cancer, and they have requested privacy for the family at this time. And when your reporter there, she did mention that Prince Harry will be flying over from California. The king, before he announced this publicly, he did speak to each one of his siblings and also to Prince Harry, of course, Prince William, who at the moment is also had stepped back a little bit from public duties due to his wife, Princess Kate, Princess of Wales. She had undergone, of course, abdominal surgery and is resting. The king immediately came back from Sandringham. He is in London. He's already undergoing treatments. What he will, though, continue to do is to look at the red boxes. He will be undertaking state duties such as meeting with the Prime Minister. So he will be still working, and he's very optimistic. And let's not forget, last but not least, he actually, for his age, is a vigorous, healthy man who has lived on organic food for a long time. And all of his aides, when they're up at Balmoral, say they can hardly keep up with him when he's hiking. The last point I'll make, though, the very last point, is that within his family, of course, his grandfather, King George VI, did die of cancer. That was lung cancer. He was a chain smoker. And, you know, the Queen did, they think, have some form of cancer. So this is something that is in the family.
All right. Niall, we know that, again, this is a very difficult time for the people of Great Britain, of course, especially after the beloved Queen was lost not too long ago. What is the general reaction? What do you think people are feeling and discussing? We also know there is a lot of love for Prince William and Princess Catherine.
Yes, thank you very much for having me on the show today. And certainly very worrying news from London, of course, dominating the headlines now on both sides of the Atlantic. And the British public, I think, has significantly warmed, actually, to King Charles III since he ascended to the throne. We simply don't know the details yet with regard to what kind of cancer this is, but certainly this extremely unusual.
This is SportsCenter. I'm Christine Lisi. The Commanders announced today they're hiring former Cardinals coach Cliff Kingsbury as their offensive coordinator. Washington will strongly consider selecting a quarterback with the second overall pick in April's draft, and their new OC has plenty of experience working with young QBs. For example, Patrick Mahomes at Texas Tech also has ties to projected number 1 overall pick USC's Caleb Williams. The two worked together last fall when Kingsbury was the Trojans quarterbacks coach and senior offensive analyst. Steve Belichick's accepted the defensive coordinator job at the University of Washington. The 36-year-old spent the last 12 years as a defensive assistant in New England under his father, Bill. Reigning NBA MVP Joel Embiid in the coming days will undergo a procedure to address a left meniscus injury. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reports the door is not closed, however, on a return this season for Embiid.